And now we will transition into the thematic focus of our evening today. I'll begin with a few comments and introduce each speaker. Jezebel, Mammy, the Indian princess, the squaw drudge, Sambo, the black male rapist, the savage warrior, the dancing mascot. This evening we have the opportunity to delve into the subject of stereotypes of Native people, Africans, and African Americans with foremost thinkers in this field. The term stereotype derives from a technical meaning in the printing industry of the 1700s. It refers to a plate fixed with an image that could be readily and widely reproduced. The word has come to mean, in our contemporary context, a simplistic, narrow, and broadly shared image of a person, group, or thing. Because stereotypes are omnipresent and we are overloaded with information and mental tasks, we tend to rely on stereotypes as, quote, cognitive tools to form impressions of others, end quote. At best, stereotypes are unintentional shortcuts. At worst, they are weapons used to demean and to degrade. Our reliance on stereotypes as individuals and as a nation has costs for sense of self, for interpersonal relationships, and for social integrity, justice, and progress. Social scientists tell us that the reduction of populations to inaccurate images and sound bites leads to negative outcomes. African American psychologist Claude Steele has founded and inspired a body of research which finds that people across a range of racial and gender groups are affected by what he has termed stereotype threat, the anxiety and fear linked to an individual's awareness of common notions of her, his, or their group. Individuals attempt to combat those stereotypes by using creative coping mechanisms, but nevertheless suffer from diminished performance when stereotypes that implicate them are triggered. The classic example of stereotype threat is the Black student who achieves a lower score on standardized tests, once primed with the idea of Black intellectual inferiority. This reduction of achievement has been duplicated in studies that look at women taking math tests, white male athletes facing academic tasks, and so on. Native American psychologist Stephanie Freiberg and her co-authors have found that even stereotypes claimed to be positive by some, such as Indian mascots of popular sports teams, can have negative effects, as in the lowering of self-esteem of American Indian high school students. Oversimplified images can diminish individual capacity and damage self-worth. But stereotypes are so powerful and resilient that they operate beyond the individual psyche to shape cultural currents and societal structures. Certain images have long operated in American culture as containers for a host of ideas that distort and belittle groups of people in ways that have material consequences. In African American history, stereotypes of Black women and men as animalistic, immoral, lazy, and childlike were used to justify their economic and sexual exploitation during slavery and their segregation and marginalization thereafter. In Native American history, stereotypes of Indigenous men and women as savage, wasteful, warlike, and romantic have been used to rationalize the taking of Indigenous lands and the undermining of Native political authority. The abiding strength of stereotypes has therefore been a major focus of scholarship in African studies, African American studies, and Native American studies. Philip Deloria, a historian of Native America, has described stereotypes as, quote, both the products and tools of domination, an inheritance that haunts every one of us, end quote. Stereotypes have been flexible and ferocious, intractable and infectious in American culture. Our four panelists, accomplished scholars and careful thinkers about the manifestations and implications of stereotypes in history, culture, and literature, will engage us on these issues by sharing their current research for 15 minutes each. I invite you to read their biographies, which are in the program, as their impressive publications and activities are too plentiful for me to speak about right now aloud. I'd like to remind you to please hold your questions for after the program. For those watching our live webcast, join the conversation on Twitter by using the hashtag stereotypes.